So the first study was from July of 2023. It's accelerometer-derived weekend warrior physical activity and incident cardiovascular disease. So
great name.
And they're always beautifully written. So accelerometer-derived, which we've talked about, those are just wearables.
Right.
Depending on the device, they can detect if you're swimming or biking or based on certain the way you move about your axes, that sort of thing. So they use the accelerometer to detect individuals' activity patterns. And then they also, in looking at cardiovascular disease, look to see if a more evenly distributed pattern of those actually aerobic guidelines, that's all this is in reference to, is just that 150 minutes to 300 minutes that you mentioned.
Yep.
Does this change the benefits towards reducing the risk for things like heart failure and heart attack, stroke, all of those cardiovascular events? Which one is better? Which one is worse? Is there a difference? How does this compare to those that have an inactive pattern?
Okay.
And so that's the question that they looked to solve ultimately. They broke the individuals into three groups. The first group were those individuals with 50% of their activity occurring over 50% of their activity occurring over just 1 or 2 days. And then the other group was just those who had a more evenly spread. They still accomplished the 150 plus minutes per week over the course of a week. Mm-hmm. And then there were those who had activity less than that threshold of 150 minutes. And so ultimately they found that there was really no significant difference in the first two groups that I mentioned, as far as the risk reduction of things like atrial fibrillation, heart attack, heart failure, those major events that we're looking for.
No kidding.
And so instead of getting into all the numbers, I mean, that's the punchline.
Wow.
Yes.
I mean, I assumed that there would be obviously some benefit, but you're saying there's functionally not any significant statistical difference.
Exactly. And so what does that mean? Do you just run home and start telling people to, who cares? Skip what you were doing during the week, just cram it all in on the weekend, right, and you'll be fine. Look, again, there's when we bring up these papers like this, and again, this was a meta-analysis, this was a retrospective analysis, huge data set of individuals, and so it does carry some weight. But again, this is not discussing resistance training. This is not talking about the other side of the guidelines that we encourage individuals meet. This is just proving the fact that suboptimal schedule arrangement doesn't really make a huge difference if you're looking to achieve health benefits of aerobic activity.
The ASCVD,
basically.
Benefits. Cool. Okay.
Yeah. So that, I mean, there were certainly some downsides with this study in particular. Although the data from each person was extracted from the accelerometers, they only took this data over the course of 1 week. And so the study spanned multiple years, but each person that participated, they only got information, again, from a 1 week period. Okay. And so what does this say? You're wearing an accelerometer. You could have easily modified your behavior going into the study. And so you could have changed the pattern of the things you were doing. You could have done a little, I know that's one of the benefits that we mention when we talk about wearable devices, is that for maybe a temporary amount of time, it might incentivize you to do a few more pull-ups or go out for an extra walk, or whatever the case. And so I think that certainly that could have happened in this cohort.